can't fault you for it. I mean, this is, you know, what you want to call it, natural disaster. I don't know. Can't fire you for it. That ain't right.
I guess we're safe where we're standing. There's dirt under here.
Right, yeah. Okay. Well, there's a tree still there. So as long as the tree's there, I'm good.
Yeah.
Tree falls, I'm worried.
I see the way you're doing like this.
Yeah, because he told us it's not safe.
Yeah, right, I wouldn't believe it. It's where Isaac and Roy come down here to play, get in the water. We are trapped in our apartments.
Third floor, legal in compliance. And her extension is very similar to 4343. It might be 4886. Well, when I finally get in, I'll give her a call. 4886. So I'll try that. Thank you. All right.
Send a picture to my
Everybody's taking pictures.
There's no way that I'm going to be able to they'll figure out something. I'm sure they'll figure out something. Yeah. You're talking about unstable roadway, wet, mucky, yeah.
Got back up a little bit. There's no dirt under here. We don't want anybody getting hurt. This thing collapses. Yeah, you can go back to the other.
Yeah, but hold the fire engine can come through. Yeah, fire engine can come through. See, that's what I'm doing. I thought it was out, and then I took the fire.
Must be a million cameras down here. Everybody's taking pictures. The man just moved us back from that edge. They said people get back. I don't know nobody that's not safe on the edge.
When we was back there, it looked like it was just water. I'm like,
I didn't know it rained that bad out here.
and they said the tornado was there.
There's people on the other side of this bridge just like it is on this side. It's supposed to open up another road on the other end of this place to go out the backside through some different apartments. Right now people can't go to work, can't go in, anybody that's out can't get in, nobody's in, can't get out.
See, that's all. You know how that's just little and you can see the rocks and stuff down there?
Wait a minute.
We've been down here in Delaware now for about 9 years now. A lot of places around here where you can get flooded too. We have seen a lot of them, but the first time we ever got flooded in, the bridge is down, and it's going to be a while before they build a new bridge, but hopefully They get this road open back up here pretty soon. I gotta get bowling today. That's the other side of the bridge. People on that side want to get in.
You're recording?
Yeah, take a little video.
Love the assholes over there who think they're so important. Maintenance guys.
Yeah,
They don't even do anything
just
to
standing
fix
around.
the place.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, they don't even do anything if you have a problem in your apartment.
yeah.
And now they want to act all tough and important.
Yeah, you're right.
funny.
You're right about that. Trying to get something done in your apartment.
Yeah, why don't you go fix shit instead
Yeah.
of standing around? People aren't stupid enough to try to walk on things.
Had to put it on top of a home there, the second floor of the home, so they can get some people out who were trapped because these waters rose so high. And we actually heard from Chief Robert Smythe, the police chief in Darby Borough, and he tells us way earlier on this morning, they were at the same location, trying to tell people, you know what, we think the water's gonna rise and it's gonna rise quickly. We really want you to get out of your homes. And Chief Smythe says people refused. Then they had to come back here after the sun came up and after the waters had already risen too high, and they had to do a ladder rescue, getting several people out of a home there in Darby Borough. Let's go to some videotape and we'll show you what we're talking about. And Sarah, we watched this live as this individual, an elderly individual who apparently uses a wheelchair, had to get on his knees and simply crawl right across this roadway.
Again, this is some tape from McDade Boulevard and Springfield Road. Not too long ago, I would say this unfolded within about the last half hour. Firefighters were called out here to the scene, to this home here, as the floodwaters rose so quickly and as people were trapped inside their house. As Matt said, they've been out earlier in the day. Officials had trying to get these people out. They refused, and then the floodwaters started to rise. This is part of that rescue happening right now as they help this person. Just quite a scene as we watch them rescue this person from that house across the raging floodwaters right there down below. And the police chief telling us there is current in this water. It is actually flowing, and that's even making it even more dangerous.
You can only imagine if someone loses their balance, what could happen. And they always tell you don't look down. Well, this person doesn't have a choice. And judging from this picture, it's very arbitrary to do so, but that looks like it's at least 10 feet, maybe more. But he's looking down and the water just raging.
And really, it is mesmerizing to stand and watch it. The Schuylkill River, or even here, you can see lots of people are going out to these scenes with their cameras and their video cameras to take pictures, but keep a distance because the firefighters and the police officers are trying to do their work as well. And in some places, these floodwaters continue to rise at this hour.
And as we said, the chief told us that the fire crew here had to leave the premises right after that particular water rescue that you saw right there because they were afraid that these waters would somehow cause problems for the fire truck and its stability and put his firefighters in danger. So they got out of there after they got the guy's fire truck, or after his wheelchair, and they did a great job.
They did do a great job. Everybody out safely here in Darby Borough.
Yeah, I was
Continue
thinking
to
down there
check in
with
with the
that-
chief
that
there as
sign
well and
saying
get updates.
Chester
Let's
Pike.
check in with Matt Pellman now. He's
I guess
been
maybe it
watching
doesn't
the
become
traffic
McDade
situation
Boulevard until
around
it
the
gets
region, and that's really a
all the
mess
way
as
up
well
there.
because there's so many barricaded areas, places people can't drive this morning.
Yeah, you're not kidding, Sarah. A lot of fire, police, a lot of police officers have been working really hard this morning trying to keep
On the
people
other side, I
away
tell you, that's
from
where
these
it is.
flooded
You know
out
where you go
roadways.
down
We're taking
past
a
on
different
Chester
look
Pike,
at the
you go
Kelly
down
Drive here in
on the
East Falls. This
Walgreens
is
side.
Midvale Avenue.
Don't
The
turn
railway
down where
station would be right about
Dennis
there.
is.
Johnny Manana's, that
The
big restaurant with
Walgreens
the
side, that's
big
Chester
pepper
Pike down
up top
there.
on its sign would be right ahead. up there, and you
Yeah,
can
where
see
the
some
Walgreens,
onlookers
where
that are out there
the
checking
Parker
out the
Theater
water.
used to
I live
be.
in East Falls. I came down
Well, that's
on
just
Joe
the
Avenue
pipe
Southern
side.
Drive this morning around 3:30.
And you go down that
like
hill.
you were saying, at that point,
When you go down
the
that
water
hill,
hadn't
that's
gone
just
onto
the
the
pipe.
roadway yet, so it was
And
very
then comes
easy to
into
drive
the
right on
Springfield
through.
Road
The
comes
road
all
was
the way
wet
out
because the
there.
rain was still coming down pretty heavily at that point, but it's amazing, not even 7 hours later, to take a look at Kelly Drive, and it's just completely underwater. On the other side of the river, on the MLK Drive, we also have high water completely blocking off the outbound side, so the traffic is kind of using the inbound lanes to get by, but that's not really
When
the way
you
to
go
go
up the hill
either.
where
So
that
you're
light
walking
is,
down
I say,
Rolling
where I
Wall.
say.
You want to stay on the
Well, that's
Schuylkill
what I thought,
Expressway,
but that
believe it or
sign
not, but
said
that's been
Chesterfield,
jammed
that was
pretty
not
heavily
up the
coming
hill.
into Center
That was
City
down
on
the
the
bottom of
eastbound
the hill,
side,
yeah.
still a whole
So
way
that
from the
must be
Blue Route
Chesterfield
on into
down there,
Brevard
too.
Avenue. Again, a lot of those
That's what I'm
highways are
saying,
starting
it's
to
just a
dry
pipe
out.
down
They're
there
going
too,
to
on the
heavy
other side
people
of,
having
on
used
the other
highways
side of
instead
McDade
the
Boulevard.
secondary routes
But you're
this
saying
morning.
on the other
So
side
many
of
of the
McDade
secondary
Boulevard.
Yeah,
routes
you walk
are
through
flooded out and
Springfield
down trees and
Boulevard,
wires.
McDade Boulevard comes right up to Springfield Road.
Fire, police, and police
And
have
you
been out
cut
here
right
trying
straight
to keep you
through
from
Springfield
getting to
Road, and on the other side is
the
Chester
sign
Pike.
for it right here, as well
But
as the
when you
sign
go
for Ridge
on
Avenue,
up,
and the police are set up on this
McDade
off ramp from the
Boulevard,
southbound side of the
to
boulevard,
where
right in the middle of
Walgreens
the
is,
construction zone,
and
trying
where
to
that
keep
light
it
is
away
in the
from
center,
that flooded out.
that's
Also,
on
the
McDade
Kelly
Boulevard,
Drive in East
and
Falls.
turn
We
up,
also still
go
have
right
flooding
to
in
Glen
Keith
Oak.
Session, blocking Cobb's Creek
Chester Pike is
Parkway. Of
on
course,
the
that's not
Sharon Hill
so
side.
far away from
And
Broadway,
comes
but
down on the side
Springfield
where
Road and
we
McDade
come out
Boulevard
from
are
Sharon
all
Hill to
blocked
go
off
to the
there by
dentist.
where Chester
When
Pike
we
comes
come out
into
there,
that
that's
whole
Chester
area
Pike.
is to be
Come down
avoided,
past
and there's still a
Walgreens
down
and go
tree
down
and
the
main
hill.
blocking Church Lane as well as one on
And that's
66th
all
Street.
Chester
Lots of
Pike.
flooding spots in
Until you
Montgomery
get
County.
to
I've
the
got all
center
this
of Main
from
Street.
CCTV.com. Here are just a few Primal Road,
Yeah, where that
Bustard Road,
red light
Rose
used to
Road,
be down there in the
Fulton
center of
Avenue,
Main
Stent
Street.
Avenue,
Yeah, but
Penn,
Chester
Blue Dot
Pike
Pike. I'll tell you,
go down
we got a
there.
call from the
Chester
White
Pike
Marsh Police
continues
Department
on
this
down
morning. They said
towards
Fort Washington
into the
is
creek.
an absolute mess with
Main
closures
Street
of portions
to,
of Stanton
McDade
Avenue as well as Skipback Pike,
talking about down the
Bethlehem
hill.
Pike. And I gotta tell you
Down there
about
by Darby,
422
that's
eastbound, we're still
different
completely
altogether.
apart from Williams Ford into King of Prussia.
Chester Pike goes all the way out to Main Street.
Indeed, that's the feeling we get. Thanks so much, Matt. Now we're gonna bring someone on the phone for us right now. This is Ed Truitt with Delaware
And
County
McDade Boulevard
Emergency
goes across Main
Management.
Street
Thanks so
too.
much for joining us, Mr. Truitt. And we have a lot of people affected by these heavy
Yes, they
rains in your
do.
county. Many of them may be watching right
Chester
now.
Pike's
So
on this
what
side,
would
Frank,
you
I'm
like
trying
them
to tell you.
know
Chester
right
Pike's
now?
on this side.
Well, if you're
McDade Boulevard is on that side.
Drive is now closer to 2 hours. So if you go to one of the highways, you have to stop by a railroad, pick up a newspaper, a cup of coffee, and be prepared for a long wait in line. Derby Creek, as you know, is now Derby River. Pretty much the same thing with Chester Creek at Curtis Street in Chester. We had probably 100 water rescues, combination of people who either drove in the water because they thought they could look at the fair out to it, they couldn't. We had people that have hydroplaned on the road, backed into another vehicle and then shut down the highway such as Route 1 and Chad Ford.
Chester Pike runs the same way as
Second
McDade.
floor of their homes in Springfield, along Rolling Road, roofs and houses in Chester Township. It was pretty much a mess here in Delaware County. If you can, stay home for a couple of hours until the traffic calms down. I'm sure you'll have a more comfortable ride to work.
Ed, you have so much experience here in Delaware County. Give us some ideas. This, comparatively speaking to flooding you've seen in the past, is this a lot worse? Did it come up much quicker? How did this unfold this morning?
Well, quite frankly, this is the first time I can think of that we had the Blue Route shut down because of water. Both at McDade Boulevard at the Blue Route and also around 3 that never happened before.
Main Street. Well, Springfield Road comes before Main Street.
This is Main Street. Now, this is Chester Pike comes around and becomes
Right now it's a mess. Stay off the highways. You're not going to be able to get there from wherever you are anyway, so take your time.
And this
Maybe 2 hours or so before you get on the highway. And you might have
another
to
name
walk
going up to
to work.
Indeed, and finally, Ed, we're assuming that no one else
And
needs
Main
rescue
Street
right now, that anyone that has found themselves being
It's
trapped.
Main Street
has
until
been able to
it
get
gets up
out,
out of
and
hospital.
firefighters
When
have
it makes
to
that
do their own
turn,
efforts.
go past that hospital, then it's all laying down there.
Evacuate, and they decided to stay there, and then an hour later changed their mind, so now we have to use boats. As you know, we cannot compel a person to evacuate, only the governor can do that, we can recommend an evacuation. People should pay attention to the public safety forces and do that. because that's their only thing about their well-being.
So you still have some boats out there that are trying to get people out of their homes?
Oh, yeah. We have boats down in Derby, certainly, because we don't know what's going to happen down there.
Ed, would you imagine that even after these floodwaters recede, you'll have work to do there in Delaware County, I would imagine?
Quite a bit, and we don't know if there's going to be any sort of a declaration. You won't know that until after the waters recede and see what the damage is like. Also remember, we're downhill from Chester and Montgomery County, so the water's going to keep on coming downhill for the next 6 or 7 hours or so we can't stop that.
How about people's basements? Do you have a lot of people experiencing flooding this morning?
Yeah, and what's going to happen there is that the firefighters finish doing what they're doing with regard to the accidents and the major water situation on the highway. We're going to start getting calls for several pump outs for those fire companies who do just that. There will be a number of them. Interesting enough, we didn't have any power failures of any significance. We've been in close contact with PECO, and they've given us a lot of support. And we only had some minor power outages, which made the situation more bearable.
Yeah. Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Right now we're looking at the Darby Creek Live, actually Darby River as Ed Truitt likes to call it now. And we can tell you that AccuWeather is saying it's going to be back to flood stage, but not until 9 o'clock tonight. So we have a long way to go in that community and so many other communities around the region.
Let's switch live now to Wilmington, Delaware, and our thanks to Ed Truitt for joining us on this busy morning for him from Delaware County. This is a tree down here in Wilmington, Delaware. The bridge is out here in Delaware County. Hundreds of residents have to, the entrance to the complex here is cut off. This is the Shellpot Creek Bridge in Fox Point. Residents of the Colony North Apartments and Las Casas Apartments off of Eastleigh Boulevard normally have to cross this small bridge to get in and out of the main entrance to the apartments, but you can see now that it is blocked. There is another way residents can walk out the back of the complex, and that leads to the First State bowling lanes. According to DelDOT, the bridge is a private road and not the responsibility of the state, but the agency has been asked to lend their assistance in evaluating the damage here.
Coincidentally, I took a call this morning in the newsroom from someone who lives in these very apartments, and the lady was trying to describe what was happening, and she said she was getting very claustrophobic because she doesn't like being caught in places. And from what she was telling me, she said a lot of people in these apartment complexes, there are apparently 3 of them in this location, had really no way to get out of there, at least with their cars, because of this bridge. And she was trying to say how big the bridge was. Well, you see how big it is right now, and it is separated, it is severed, and there is a tree lying right across it, and we can only assume that this is because of the floodwaters there, raging beneath the bridge, and then getting closer and closer, and finally the bridge gives way, and it completely collapses. A private bridge there now. Folks in this apartment complex cannot get out in Wilmington.
And just to be more specific, again, this is the Shellpot Creek Bridge in Fox Point. So the residents of the Colony North Apartments and Las Casas Apartments off Eastleigh Boulevard, they can't get across this bridge to get in and out of the main entrance to the apartments. So at the moment, as Matt said, feeling pretty trapped.
Yeah, the force of water is immense. Karen Rogers is here to tell us more about the flooding problems we have across the region. Karen?
And I've got an update for you right now. The Christina River now forecasted to crest at 11 feet. It has changed from major flooding there at Creatures Bridge in Delaware to moderate flooding and expected to be minor shortly. White Clay Creek crested just about 10 minutes ago. So right now that is already moderate flooding. This was major flooding earlier. So that's some changes for you. We still have moderate flooding in Chamonix Creek, Perkiomen Creek at Graterford. Major flooding going on at Chester Creek at Chester, Brandywine Creek, Red Clay Creek. Those are some of the spots that are the worst right now, obviously, in Darby. Flood warnings persist throughout the entire area for your small streams, your creeks, your roadways. And that rain's still coming down in spots. I mean, it was so enhanced there due to, in part, the remnants of Tropical Storm Nicole. So funny that a storm, ironic, a storm without a name is causing so much problems as we get this rain pushing out of here. And right now that we just have that light stuff that we're dealing with right now. We got over 8 inches of rain in Allentown, over 6.5, huge amount of rainfall. In Lancaster, nearly 5 inches. in Philadelphia. How about Wilmington? 7.58. And we're seeing a lot of the flooding problems there in Delaware. We want to focus on the Chester Creek because as I talked to the hydrometeorologist at the National Weather Service, they use the Chester Creek, which runs right next to the Darby Creek, to give an idea of what's going on with the Darby Creek. So what we know is the flood stage is at 8 feet. Major flooding happening there, obviously. It crested at about 18.4 feet in Florida, and I've got that live action cam shot I can show you. Look at the current in this water as we look live at Darby Creek. And you know, we heard officials telling us out there that they felt it was moving at about 30 miles an hour. And I think that shot really says it all. This is why we tell you over and over again, don't go walking through it, don't go driving through it. It has a force all in of its own. So why did we get so much water there so quickly? There are actually a couple different reasons. Yes, we had so much rainfall for sure, and we did have it coming from the tributaries, but we also had this persistent southeasterly flow, which actually added some tidal flooding to the Delaware. And although we had some tidal flooding, so that kind of added to the problems we had. You had the rain coming down, you had this persistent southeasterly flow, and the Darby Creek, such a low-lying area, as we're looking at this, is a low-lying area, obviously, but it's one that responds so quickly to the rain. While we watch the Schuylkill, we watch the Delaware, and we see it kind of slowly increasing, step by step. Walter Perez was out there saying that. But in the Darby Creek, I mean, in an instant, look at this tree just sort of flowing by in the water here. In an instant, it goes from something to nothing. In fact, I've got some numbers to kind of indicate that. So Wednesday night, the Darby Creek was about 1 to 3 feet, right? By 7 o'clock this morning, it crested at 18 feet. What a huge change. It's just a few feet, and then boom, it's 18 feet in just a little more than 24 hours. And that's why we have the problems out there. But there's some better news. Again, according to the hydrometeorologists at AccuWeather, what they're saying to me right now, right, you can see that current there, can't you? What they're saying is that it was in the process of receding, that yes, it did crest. However, it was about 18 feet, right? And by 9 a.m. it was down to a little more than 14 feet. So we're working our way down, and the grass was such a short grass, kind of like this. It was almost nothing Wednesday night. It was huge this morning, and now we're right back working our way down. But as you look at this picture, that's not doing a whole lot. Working your way down from what? You've got a river flowing through the streets right there, people being rescued, emergency workers on the scene, and again, the power of it. You can really grasp as you look at those tight shots, and that's why they're saying don't walk through it, don't drive through it, stay away. But I'm telling you that things are going to improve. So hang in there a little bit, listen to the emergency workers, and things are going to be improving with this. We are definitely going to see that. Let's talk about just a couple of other things. A lot of people wondering what this affects for the Schuylkill. Right now, as I said, it's a slower responding river, but we're still just seeing minor flooding. Even though it looks horrible when you're out there, numerically speaking, minor flooding. It's going to rise about 1.8 feet above flood stage in Philadelphia. And we're going to see the cresting in some of these areas, like the Delaware, not until tomorrow afternoon. But in Easton, the Delaware will be about 2.8 feet. Again, you're going to be getting minor flooding there. And as you're wondering at home, like, well, what does this mean to where I live? Go to 6abc.com. This is where we have the links for absolutely everything you would ever need. But one of the things is that you can actually look up whichever river you want, whichever area you're in Lehigh, you want to check it out, and you can get all the details right there, Matt and Sarah.
They just built that little area down there.
All right, let's go live back again to some, so this is some tape from Darby Borough a little bit earlier today. This is, Matt, you know that this is 9th and Main Street. That's right, where some senior citizens were rescued from a home here this morning. It looks like a residence, in fact. It may be a group home or a place where these senior citizens live. This is the Darby Court Apartments, I'm being told. These are senior citizens who were taken from, rescued from this apartment building this morning. Can you imagine just such a traumatic morning for these residents here?
Yeah, a lot of rescues going on in Darby. We have some action cam pictures that we took earlier of a sinkhole that cropped up in South Philadelphia. This is at 12th and Snyder, and folks have to deal with that, and you can only assume that is from all the heavy rains, the road gives way and tumbles down.
And let's take a live picture now. This is Springfield Road and McDade Boulevard in Darby Borough, a raging river at this point. This is supposed to be the Darby Creek. You heard the head of the emergency management in Delaware County calling it the Darby River this morning. It was actually a current. We watched throughout the morning. A short time ago, they had to put a ladder truck up and rescue people out of the
That
homes here. They
little
had to
Chinese
cross
man, he must don't know
over
what's
this
happening
raging
either. He
water
getting ready
to
to do that
safety.
here go to work.
Live
Got his
picture we
little
go.
bag and
Kelly
everything.
Drive.
Yeah.
That is the Schuylkill
Now he know,
River.
not unless
And
they
the
got it
traffic
open
lights
up
give
back
you an
there.
indication of how
He
high the
must
water
not,
has
none of his
risen
people,
along this
none
river,
of
and
his
it is
people must not
flowing
have been
pretty
out this
quickly.
morning or have
We are
anything on
expecting
TV.
minor
Don't know
flooding
how to
from the
read
Schuylkill
it.
River. Minor only in being that we have a lot of roadways along it, including Kelly Drive, including MLK Drive, that are being
Yeah,
affected.
I'm gonna look and see
Somewhere
what-
down
which
there
way
in the
he gonna
fourth
go.
screen is Kelly
He's
Drive.
going to-
You
when I
cannot
first
see it,
got
we
up
have
and come
road
out here,
closures here.
and
The
cars
Schuylkill
being
River
lined up, they
overflowing
did.
its banks in
People
the east
trying
south
to go to
section
work
of
because
Philadelphia.
The Action
You
News
know,
team
they
is
was
out
lining
about
up
around the
what they